Okay, let's talk about elementary algebra and introductory algebra. And the whole point of this video is to give you some tips so you can pass these courses the first time. So oftentimes people take elementary algebra or introductory algebra at the college level, and it's generally adults going back to schools. This is the kind of most typical type of student that takes these courses. So maybe you've been out of school for several years and you're going to have to take some basic algebra course, which is pretty typical again that it's referred to as elementary algebra or introductory algebra or some other type of basic algebra. And they're effectively the same course, but I'm going to give you some tips that you need to kind of pay attention to. So when you take this course, if you've been out of school for several years, you actually pass it the first time. So you want to be kind of mentally prepared to go back to school and learn algebra. So if you stick around for a couple minutes, I'm going to give you some good things that if you follow my guidance, my tips, that you will be successful and pass these courses. But before we get going, let me first quickly introduce myself. My name is John. I'm the founder of TabletClass Math. I'm also a middle and high school math teacher. I'm going to leave a link to my math help program in the description of this video. But I like to think of myself as someone who explains math. Of course, I'm a teacher, but I really like to explain math in very clear and understandable terms so anyone and everyone can learn this stuff. So if you're at the middle school, high school, or college level, I can definitely help you get through your respective math courses. Now, if you happen to be preparing for any sort of test that has a math section on it, and there's a lot of them out there, I'm talking about things like the GED, SAT, ACT, GRE, GMAT, ASVAB, AccuPlace, or CLEP exam, maybe a teacher certification exam. I can definitely help you prepare and pass those exams. If you homeschool, you got to check out my homeschool math courses. I was just recently voted #1 for middle school and high school mathematics by a major homeschool publication. Pretty excited about that. And if you need some math notes, I'm going to leave links to my math notes in the description of this video. Okay, so let's get into it. Again, this is just going to be some general guidance on those of you out there that are going to be taking elementary algebra or introductory algebra or some sort of basic algebra. And again, these are course descriptions that are generally at the community college level. Okay, so the first thing is if you're thinking back to your high school years, you're like, well, what am I going to be expecting? Well, this is effectively, for the most part, equivalent to high school algebra 1. Okay, so if you can remember back, and typically most students took this as a freshman, there's also going to be some aspect of maybe like pre-algebra, which is like typically an eighth grade course. So we're talking um, eighth, ninth grade level mathematics. Okay, now with that being said, there is a lot to be covered in high school algebra 1. So this is a full 1 year course, and these courses here, depending on your college, sometimes could be like one semester courses. So the one thing you need to be mindful is you had, I'm speaking in generalities because every college is going to be a little bit different. But in this course here, students, high school students, get 1 year, and oftentimes these courses are going to be like, one semester. Excuse me. So that means the pace is going to be a lot faster. So that's the first thing I want you to kind of know is that the pace is going to be generally quick. Okay. So you're going to have to be ready to, right when the course starts, to be prepared for a faster pace. Now, again, there's exceptions to this, but generally speaking, this is how it kind of works at the college level. So, with that being said, you're saying, well, I didn't do well in high school mathematics. I'm very concerned about this. I want you to know, and this is more directed towards those of you that are adult learners, because again, elementary algebra and introductory algebra are typically, course descriptions of college level courses. And I would say the majority of people that are taking these courses are people going back to school. But even if you're 18 and you didn't do well in high school mathematics, you need to forget all that. Okay, so in other words, if you didn't do well in high school or middle school and you're like, I don't do well in math, forget all that. You are a different person. So because you are an adult and you are choosing to go to school and learn and work towards a degree or a certification, you're committed to a big goal in your life. You're not the same as a young, 14, 15-year-old high school student that is distracted by their friends in the classroom. This is, you're a different person. So these students here, they can do well in math, but they're, of course, even myself, way back in the good old 1980s, I was completely distracted. I wasn't a great student. I was talking to my buddies and doing all kinds of stuff. But of course, when you go to college, you're much more responsible and committed. So you need to give yourself kind of a mental reset that as an adult, you're going to be a much better learner than you were in high school. So your track record back then really is to go, don't bring that towards what your potential or your capabilities are as an adult. I'm here to tell you that you can do very well in mathematics. Of course, if you're still, finding yourself distracted and things like that, of course, that's going to be an issue, but that's not going to be the case at a college level type of course. So as an adult, okay, you're going to have the kind of the soft skills to be successful. And what are those things? Well, commitment, dedication, all of those different type of things. So you're going to have to be willing to put in the work. Okay, if you're paying out of pocket for a college course, then you're obviously want to get your money's worth and pass this course. So let's talk about some things that are going to be critical for you. So the first thing is you definitely need to learn how to take excellent math notes. Okay, so there a lot of information is going to be coming at you. So if you don't like taking notes, you need to get to like taking notes, because you're going to have to take a lot of notes in this course. Okay, so whatever the teacher's writing down or presenting, make sure you write and just get yourself a good old-fashioned 3-ring binder with a pencil. Okay, so you should be taking a lot of notes. It's critical. Now, note taking, some of you might be like, well, they give me the information. There's online worksheets, etc. I don't need to take notes because I can always download the information. The whole point of note taking, okay, is your interaction when you're writing things down, and just like that is this activity goes to your focus. Okay, focus is the key. You have to be tremendously focused, and when you're focused on the information, writing that down, not only are you laser focused on the information the teacher's saying, this whole activity of you writing things down, this kinesthetic kind of learning process, is going to go towards your retention. Okay, so you got to take notes, you got to review your notes. These are like some of the basic things, academic skills that maybe you didn't practice in high school, but you're going to have to learn them, as an adult in college. Okay, so excellent note taking is, critical. Okay, and I kind of like to say this in some of my other YouTube videos, is that, and I've seen this over decades of teaching mathematics, those students who take great notes almost always end up um, getting the top grades, and the reverse is true. Those students who take poor notes or like really not organized well and whatnot, those students generally end up with barely passing the course, if not failing the course. So, anyways, be prepared to take great notes. Okay, so now another thing you can do is the following. I'm going to really recommend this, is if you know that you're going to be taking elementary algebra or introductory algebra, I'm going to suggest getting into some sort of program. Okay, now what do I mean by that? I'm going to put this in parentheses, and this might be kind of a shameless plug for my program, but you may want to consider starting to learn algebra before you take this course. I'm going to strongly suggest that. So if you know, in a couple months I'm going to be taking this course, and you have some anxiety about it, if you take one of my courses, like my introductory algebra or pre-algebra algebra 1 course, you're going to get ahead. Okay, you're going to build momentum, you're going to learn skills, which is going to make things a lot easier for you when you actually take this course. Remember, the topic of this video is to get you to pass these courses the first time. So if you get an excellent program where there's a lot of great instruction, it's like my YouTube channel. I have a lot of different videos, but it's not organized in a specific kind of curriculum. So if, for example, if you take my course, okay, and you're not going to complete the course because it takes a long time, but if you start learning the material, it's going to really help build momentum for you in this course. Because remember, this material is going to be coming at you a lot faster. Plus, having a program like something like what I have is a kind of a nice supplemental program to help you when you don't understand from your teacher. Oftentimes, too, because let me just say this much: sometimes you're not going to be taking this in a classroom. Sometimes you might be taking this online, and I hate to say it, but a lot of the programs that I've seen online that colleges offer with these courses are not the best quality. They're quite confusing, and a lot of students struggle. So not only is the instruction coming at students a little bit differently, they also got to deal with a fast pace, and they also got to deal with not maybe practicing all these great academic habits for a long time. So that can lead to a bad, outcome, i.e., not passing the course. All right, so another thing that you have to kind of really be ready, and I'm kind of maybe, some of this stuff kind of overlaps here, is that you have to be kind of mentally ready to work. Okay. In other words, there's no shortcuts. And if you're not prepared 100% to be committed to this, I'm talking about be immersive, doing all the homework, not skipping any classes. I mean, you have to be ready to work and not fall behind. Okay. So if you're taking this, you're like, and you're just maybe your level of commitment is not quite there, or maybe you have a lot of distractions going on in your life, you might want to think about postponing this. But I'm here to tell you there's not going to be any shortcuts. Okay. Um, so you're going to have to put in the work to do the right things. Again, if someone out there is saying, no, you don't have to do that, or it's not so easy, well, guess what? That's bad advice, and nothing good comes easy. So be ready to work, okay? Have that kind of, carved out in your calendar, especially if you have some anxiety about, mathematics, okay? So put in extra time, all right? So whatever you think you need to learn, maybe double the amount of time. And a course like this, you're going to have to put in a minimum of an hour, maybe an hour to two per day, and even on the weekends, because this course is generally going to go pretty quick. Okay. Again, I was speaking to those courses that are going to be one semester. Okay, so the last tip I'm going to talk about here is to talk to your teacher. Okay, ask questions. Be that pesky student that is saying, hey teacher, I need help. I'm falling behind. I don't understand this. Ask questions. Be demanding, because this is going to show your teacher a couple things. One, you're going to get the teacher answering questions. Now, even if you don't understand everything they're talking about, you can, maybe use a program like mine to learn. When you're engaged with your teacher, okay, your professor, whoever the case might be, it's showing them, okay, that you care, that you're engaged, that you're like, this person wants to pass this course. It's really, really important. So if you are falling behind, let's say you take a test and you get 77%, that is not good. Okay, even though you passed, you need to be, hey teacher, what did I do wrong? What can I do better? Can I make up any points here? So you have to be highly engaged with your teacher. You don't want to be a passive student. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this also, it's kind of an unwritten rule. Teachers aren't going to tell you this, but I've been a teacher, and I'm going to tell you right now that teachers can find points. You're like, what are you talking about? Well, believe me, if a student gets a 69.2% and they need a 70% to pass, and that is it. That was their final grade. But this particular student was just a hard worker, engaged and whatnot. Believe me, that teacher can just pull some points from the universe and get that person over to 70%. Okay. However, the reverse is true. If the teacher thinks that you're not really engaged, you didn't put in the work, you weren't really trying, then, there is that kind of like gray area that a lot of teachers aren't going to, kind of reward you. So make sure you are engaged, you're asking questions. But if you follow all of these kind of, guidelines here, you will pass. Okay, definitely you will pass. And of course, this is elementary algebra, introductory algebra, and that's typically not going to be enough in terms of your minimum requirement for college or whatnot. Probably most of you are going to have to take a course like college algebra. So you want to start learning how to study mathematics. So this advice here that I'm giving to you would apply in any course. So again, you know, um, this is more directed towards those of you that are probably going back to school. But if you're taking elementary or introductory algebra, don't let these words kind of fool you. Oh, it's elementary, or it's like basic introduction to algebra. No, you have to be ready for it. They cover quite a bit of material in this algebra course. So hopefully this video helped you out. And if that is the case, go ahead and consider helping me out by smashing that like button and maybe even subscribing to my YouTube channel. I've been on YouTube for 10 plus years, have over 1,000 plus math videos. All these videos can definitely help you out. So I have videos from basic math to advanced math and like calculus. So I have a ton of algebra videos on my YouTube channel. So if you like my teaching style, take advantage of that. But I would really encourage you to check out my introductory algebra courses, pre-algebra, algebra 1 courses. Any of those would work just fine if you're taking a course like this. Okay, so with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.